Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to map making with me, BonBonB. I'm BonBonB. You're very, very welcome, and welcome back to Duvo, the provisional name for my second ever map build within Cities Skylines. Right, there's going to be an awful lot of underwater work today, but we're going to start off with the river, because it's not really obvious it's a river at the moment, because it's just a river mouth. So I'm going to be narrowing that up and making some very, very noob mistakes. I should know better, but you know, sometimes you don't really think. yes, yeah, every day for some people like me. And I completely neglected to stick pause on the game, because you don't work with water while the water is live, because it's just impossible. It's just impossible. Work with it, do your adjustments and amendments, and then let it all settle down, and then go back and do some more adjustments and amendments. So yes, there's going to be a little bit of work today on this, and because it's impossible for me to see how the map is actually being affected with regards to the tides mod without going to the live game itself and then testing that way, you'll see me come back in the next episode or 2 or 10 however many, however many, and I'll be doing plenty of retrospective editing. I'm best guessing, and then going back and fine-tuning the best guess, and then we'll be going back and doing some more fine-tuning of the best guess. Had a bit of trouble moving this. It was stupid how I was unable to actually grab this, because obviously that is no longer in the middle of my river, and I want it in the middle of the river, and it just won't let me pick it up from the side. Pick up, that's it, got it, finally moved it across. But yes, that's going to affect the water flow for a little while, so we're going to come over here. I just wanted to have a look at the underwater terrain, at the levels of it, and I just wanted the water to settle down, and I tried all the tricks, like adjusting the sea level, and then adjusting the sea level too high, and then adjusting the sea level back down again. That was just me trying to get the sea level back to exactly the right level, and then once I got it to there, and I'm looking going, that's too high. That's too high. I ended up going over to the essential lighthouse island, which you'll see in a moment, to make sure that I've got the exact right level, because I know that the water levels on here, I know where they're supposed to be, and I was very happy the water level's about right. So just need to give the that water level just time to settle. So I just left it. I just left it with a view to time-lapsing this even faster. But to be honest with you, it's just more editing. Just more editing, and I do enough already. So yes, so today will be plenty of underwater work, because with the tides mod, a lot of this will be, when the tide goes out, will become visible. Now, one of the problems that I had was with the water flowing out of the wetlands in those little mini rivers, and when the tide went out, I was left with an area of land where there was no water. I want it to be a persistent river going regardless of whether it's a high tide or a low tide. And so today you'll see me doing lots of editing, trying to get the river to hurry down, to chase the tide almost. Down some slopes there. Now I'm going to let you know now. I then went into testing after I did all this editing, and it hasn't worked. So this is an area where, having done all this this creative tweaking, it hasn't panned out. It hasn't panned out. It will. Don't get me wrong, this is not something that's going to beat me. I can pretty much see what I've got to do to actually make it work. I just want to I want to push the envelope a little bit. I want to get as close to not having to do it. Does that make any sense at all? Probably no. Let me try and explain better. I could, at the edge of the island, do a cliff down to seabed level. And that would mean that there would be absolute water right up to the edge at all time, because we're talking seabed level. Now, I don't want that, because that would look ridiculous. Equally, if I then have the water fading out a mile away, then we've got the problem with the water flow coming out from the river not reaching the tide, not being able to chase the tide fast enough. So what I want to do is I want to find the optimum level where the river that is just strong enough to meet the tide. That's what I'm looking for. That's the optimum point. That's better explained, isn't it? I'd give myself a little cherry drop for that one if I had one here. I haven't. Not here. Anyway, I'm about 3 minutes away from being able to go and get a cherry drop, and I'm not going to do that. Otherwise, you're going to have the next 3 minutes of pure silence, and then me being out of breath and wheezy from running to go and get said cherry drop. It's fine. Don't send me cherry drops, by the way. I promise you, I have got more cherry drops than you have, unless you are, of course, the owner, managing director of Barrett's factory. In which case, yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that one. Yeah, I have plenty of candy. Do not ever send me candy, because that's just ridiculous. I am BonBon. I am the lord of the bonbons. Anyway, right, let's get back to maps. So what I want to do is have a few more, even if some of these rivers aren't strictly speaking going to be flowing rivers. Some of these I want some of them to actually, well, some of them will have to carry water just solely because that's the way that it works. But some of them will be aesthetic rivers. They'll be constantly full of water and will give the appearance of being flowing rivers, but they don't actually have to be flowing rivers. Now, one thing that I have learnt, once again from going back into the editor, is where I'm drawing the sand up to here is not far enough. It's just still too shallow, so when the tide goes out, a lot of this area will be revealed and will be green, and I don't want it to be green. I ham cured meats. I was past tense of am. I was thinking about using the resources to find an appropriate texture for the undersea areas that become revealed that aren't actually sand. The thing with that is finding a texture that works for undersea texturing. Oh, for a little lake, a little persistent lake here would look quite nice, so that's what we're doing here. So yeah, I've toyed with doing that, but then finding one that works for undersea texturing and on land texturing, it was going to be a bit of a struggle. I still will try and do it, and I still might end up switching to resource texturing for undersea work as well as land work, but it's finding something that's spot on perfect, and it's going to be a bit of a stretch, if I'm honest with you. I know the sort of texturing that I would like, but I'm not sure I can find one that will work for both. So I think we might end up just having to settle for sand texturing and the depth of the water to really give the differences in the colour in the sand, because obviously the closer it is to the surface of the water, i.e. the shallower the water, the brighter the sand will appear, and the deeper it goes, the darker the sand will appear. And I think that's probably how this is going to go. It's going to take some time. Don't think this is going to be one that is going to be a couple of episodes and it'll be finished, because yeah, this is already the second episode and we are just, well, I think just touching on it now, I'm definitely learning what can work and what won't work, not having done this before. And to be honest with you, I don't think many people have. A few map creators have, obviously, but many map creators haven't looked at depth of water and how it affects the colours of textures, and especially with the sand, but also but land resource textures would be something to look at as well. Now the beaches, I've got to do a lot of work on the beaches all the way around. I'm trying to get the beaches to follow the same level of the line of terrain there. As you can see there, I can see that top line. That's what I'm trying to follow, just to give a little bit of consistency and balance to these mainland beaches, which once again I'm not expecting them really to be used much within the game at all. There will be some people that will use this for I don't know, maybe a coastal town or something like that, just off of the highway stroke freeway stroke motorway. We've got to find one word. One word. It's motorway in the UK, but I know that that doesn't work in America for you guys. So a highway or a free. Is there a difference between a highway and a freeway? I guess there is, isn't it? Is it a freeway is like multi-lanes, interstate maybe? And a high, oh, I don't know. Somebody let me know in the comments. I'm not going to say autobahn because I'm only going to get that wrong. Right, now a little bit of terrain change here. First of all, I'm going to work with the water flow. See the way the water's pushing in from the top part of the screen down. But I also want to have a little peninsula coming out here. You can see this was a former peninsula that has now been sunk under the sea level. And this is one of my feature areas. I promised you I was going to be a couple of feature areas. I won't be finishing this. This takes me a few tries, by the way. I won't be finishing this feature area until right at the end of the build, though. There's a certain issues that need to be resolved before I can actually finish this particular feature area. But to be honest with you, it's going to look. I think it's going to be one of the. Brain has gone. Language has wandered out of my head again. One of those things that this map will become remembered for, this particular feature area. So hopefully that's going to look nice. So yeah, a former peninsula that is now underneath the tidal waters. And when I say tidal waters, we're literally talking tidal waters. Under here I found a little undersea area that's like raised up a little bit. Need to flatten that out because we're going to have shipping coming up the edge of the map to this area, or a shipping route, to give the city builder an option for a freight terminal, because the harbour isn't really set up for a freight terminal. It's too small for that. We do have the secondary island, which will be big enough for a freight terminal, but of course it's a secondary island with no land connection, so I wanted to have that land connection terminal to allow for that. So that's what's going on down in that corner of the map. Obviously now I'm doing some sand work, some sandbars, once again trying to give a little bit more highlight to the fact that this is a river system. That sandbar will need reworking, if I'm completely honest with you. It does need reworking because the water flow onto that sandbar, or to the land side of the sandbar, the water's just not getting to it. Either I need to rework it or put another water source down the side of that. That's basically the options with that one. But yes, just raising up some of these sandbars so they pop their head over the top of the water. This is high tide level, by the way, and this is the level that's going to be the vanilla. Hello, gap there. Going to be the vanilla setting. So if you're going to be playing without the tides mod, with the base map, this is what it's going to look like as the base map. And then with the tides mod involved, you'll get the water changing levels throughout the course of the day, going up and down and up and down and in and out. Round and round. No, it doesn't go round and round. Doesn't that would be silly now, wouldn't it? So yes, getting towards the end of today's show. I've made some steps towards this, but what you can't see is the testing process. And I'm deliberately not showing you the testing process because I want you to get like the big reveal at the end of how this works. You've probably got a good visual of how it's going to look once the tides mod is running. But I just want it to be one of those things that you look at and you go, yep, yeah, BonBonB got that right, or oh, he made a mess of that, didn't he? whichever. But yes, still plenty of work to be done, especially this river mouth here coming out from the wetlands is not working. I did my best there and it just doesn't work. So there's going to be doing some deepening of the waters and a bit closer to the land itself. You'll see. You'll see. It'll all come together. I promise. I do. I promise. Right, how about that then? Yeah, is that about enough for today? I think so. There'll be more coming along. If not tomorrow, because we've got the Viewer's Choice top 10 to come. Viewer's Choice, once it's ready, will take precedence over map making. And but then there'll be more map making this week. So thanks for watching, commenting, liking and subscribing. I'll see you very, very soon. Bye now. I better go. Where's my cherry drops?